Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Myth Busting. Today we are doing the first episode of Mini Myths. This is going to be a collection of smaller myths that didn't really deserve their own episode but were certainly worth investigating. Now all of the myths we will be covering were suggested by you the viewers, so continue to go down to the comment box and suggest myths. I write down all of your suggestions for episodes, and every now and then we will cover some of the smaller questions you have with a Mini Myths episode. But before I jump into it, I also get a lot of suggestions for myths that have already been covered, the main culprit being drop rates affected by breaking leaves or letting them decay naturally. We have already covered that one and many more, so be sure to check out the series playlist before suggesting, as we have already covered a lot of myths. So our first of 5 mini myths this episode: do cobwebs reset full damage? You can see from this simple test, when the player falls down through the cobwebs they land and they don't take any full damage, and here is the player falling down without the cobwebs in comparison, so you can see that it does break full damage. But this got me thinking that we know water breaks full damage. Does lava also break full damage? So I decided to test this as well. You can see here the player falling through water and not taking any damage, and then I drank a fire resistance potion, fell through the lava, and I didn't take any damage as well. So we've learnt two things so far: that cobwebs and lava will stop full damage. Next up, we want to find out if mobs will move faster when they are in a water stream that has ice underneath. Now this works with items, however it does not work with mobs, and I can show you that using this simple test over here. We're going to be doing this with ice and packed ice as well, and we're going to spawn in 3 creepers at the same time at the end of each of those water streams. And what they'll do is they'll come all the way down to the end, they'll fall down at the same time, which will show they're moving at the same speed. Now this can be affected slightly if the mob's pathfinding is trying to travel somewhere else, because then they will swim against the water stream, which is what this guy is now doing here. But you saw from our first test that they do actually travel at the same speed. So, do beacons work with redstone blocks or coal blocks, etc.? The answer is obviously no. However, you can see where this myth comes from. It's because there are 7 different types of ore in the overworld, and the beacons work with 4 of them. Now, there's a very simple way to test this, of course. That's just placing down the beacon and waiting for the beam to appear. But if we have a look at the GUI here, we have the emeralds, the diamonds, the gold and iron, and they're the ones that it works with and not the other ones. And we can just test this by placing down beacons on each of these. You'll see the 3 at the back will get beams, but the 3 at the front won't. So while we're at it, we may as well test out the nether quartz ore as well. Then we've covered all different 8 in the game. We put it down on a block of quartz like that, and you can see we get no beam. So it's only the ones in the GUI that it works with. So next up, can the fortune-free enchantment yield more than 4 pieces of glowstone dust from a block of glowstone? The answer is no. Mojang have actually coded this in so you can't get more than 4, and the reason why is because you need 4 pieces to craft it. So if you could get more, then with a single block of glowstone you could make a farm. But what I'm going to do is demonstrate this to you. So I'm going to place down a whole bunch of glowstone and break it in survival mode with fortune free, and if I recall correctly you will get between 3 and 4 pieces each time. And then what we will do is do it with Fortune X. So if it was possible to get more than 4, then we'd probably get quite a lot more using this pick, but what we will see is that we get 4 drops from each block of glowstone that we harvest. So the results were a little bit different than expected. With Fortune X we did not get 4 drops for each block. Sometimes we would get 3, but on average it was 3.86 for each block, and with Fortune Free the average was 3.55. But those 2 tests were done with 100 blocks of glowstone, and so 200 in total. The entire time I was doing that I was counting the drops that I got from each block, and at no point did I ever see more than 4 glowstone dust. So our last mini myth for this episode: are Neverstars indestructible? A lot of you have been asking me this. I can tell you the answer is no. However, they can't be destroyed by explosions, and I can show you this by planting down some TNT and then chucking a whole bunch of Neverstars in there, and none of them will get destroyed. So let's go in, pick them up. You can see I've got a stack again. However, these can be destroyed by other things, for example lava. If we go down and chuck our Neverstars into the lava, you see they don't make their way to the other side, they get destroyed. And the same thing goes for fire as well. Chuck them on there and they're gone. But there is one other thing that I'm interested about with this Neverstar, and that is, does it have the same despawn time as regular items? So I'm going to chuck this down on the ground and then we're going to wait 5 minutes and find out. So 5 minutes and a whole bunch of rain later, the item despawns, so nothing is different there, but we've checked it against the game code. The Neverstar is resistant to explosive damage. That includes the Wither's projectile attack, the gas turret and creeper explosions, for example. But that is it for this episode of Minecraft myth busting. I hope you have enjoyed the mini myth format. If you have, leave a comment down below, and if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like. It will always be appreciated. But that is it, so as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.